Kavod Rabonim, SAJBD Council, chairpersons of affiliate organizations, our national SAJBD rep, Sharices, community leaders, to echo Daniel's line, all protocols observed and no rebels. Welcome to the Cape South African Jewish Board of Deputies AGM 2025. The good news is I'm following Lester's suit and I have slashed my chairperson's report. I will be giving you a scenario of the environment that we're living in, all the forces that are shaping the decisions and informing the actions that we have taken. I will focus on a few key issues, and we will be opening it up for deeper discussion and a deeper dive into some of these issues in our panel discussion. So we are living right now through one of the toughest and most challenging times in global Jewish history. Our chair report for 2024 reflected on how much the Jewish world had shifted on its axis since October the 7th. A very, very long, hard year later, the reflection is now more sobering. Hamas still holds our hostages, barely alive and in the most horrific of subhuman conditions. Tragically, the war is ongoing with destruction, deplorable loss of life, famine and humanitarian crisis and intense suffering by innocent civilians on all sides. Globally, the landscape is one of warfare, international proxy security attacks and threats and constantly shifting foreign policy alliances. Jewish communities throughout the world have come under threat with wave after wave of anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist attacks from all sides and in all shapes and forms and disguises. This is playing out constantly in the media, as Gareth mentioned earlier, in professional, academic, political, and social spaces. Synagogues are being burnt down and restaurants destroyed, to the latest assassination of Charlie Kirk. Protests are a constant way of life around the world. Jew hate and violence is everywhere, and it feels at times as if the world is just reverberating with it. It has never been a harder time to be Jewish. As a Jewish community in South Africa, we are in an intersection of unprecedented challenges, and the work of the board at this time, as we combat anti-Semitism and we advocate for the civil rights of our community, its security and its well-being, has never been more important. Our national political context sees 2 years since the breakdown in the relationship with the ANC government over its alignment with Hamas, and the silence to our community after the events of the 7th of October, which was particularly hurtful. The ICJ case, DIRCO, and its lobbying to shut down all diplomatic ties with Israel, and it has been a challenging time with the continued antagonism of our national government and the ongoing battle to reclaim and remain in our shared public spaces. The focus on foreign policy alignment is seemingly out of kilter with South African issues of unemployment, rising economic hardship, and the risk of a breakdown in relations with US trade agreements. The Government of National Unity offers cautious hope. We have already seen a curtailing of the ANC's most inflammatory rhetoric, with more attention beginning to turn inward. Yet, amidst these challenges, the South African Jewish Board of Deputies has formed some remarkable outcomes. We have worked hard to strengthen our diplomatic engagements with governmental bodies, fostering understanding and countering prejudice, and our advocacy has amplified Jewish voices, ensuring that we are heard and that all efforts to exclude us from public spaces are met with staunch resistance. The Cape South African Jewish Board of Deputies forms part of the National South African Jewish Board of Deputies, with Sri Brivik, our immediate past chair, and myself sitting on the National Exec. We have a close and collaborative relationship, and we work together to counter prejudice and foster understanding and diplomatic relationships. Our work together with the National Board makes sure that us as proud South Africans live in a constitutional democracy where our rights and freedoms remain protected under our Constitution and uphold the principle that South Africa really does belong to all those who live in it, or the ideal. Despite the ever-present threats and trials, the situation for our community in this country remains among the best in the world, and we should not allow the fog of pessimism to cloud our view of it, just as we should not also allow this relative success to lull us into apathy. The mandate of the Cape South African Jewish Board of Deputies is to protect and safeguard civil and religious rights, status, and welfare of our community, to fight anti-Semitism and to maintain the well-being of our community in conjunction with our affiliate organizations, so that we are able to practice our Judaism in a free and safe environment. The Cape South African Jewish Board of Deputies seeks to promote an active and diverse Jewish Cape Town community who respect, support, and protect one another. Our strategy of educate, engage, and empower is seen in our projects that contribute to the growth and the well-being of the Western Cape as we play an active role across the local leadership spectrum, participate in civil society events and discussions, and work across the spectrum with provincial government, institutions, and NGO spaces. And Dawn Nathan heads up our, we call it advocacy, we call it Associate Relations Subcommittee, and is doing the most incredible job of heading up that particular sphere. Kol hakavod, Dawn. Cape Town has certainly taken the heat of the situation in the Middle East, as we have faced wave after wave of hostility, protests outside our community center and Sea Point against Jewish businesses like Cape Union Mart in public spaces from the waterfront to Canal Walk, online hate in the media and social media, and anti-Semitism, anti-Zionism, and hostility. We address anti-Semitism through a thorough and strong engagement strategy with government, media, academic, and civil society to strengthen relationships, as well as our emphasis this year on legal and diplomatic channels. Our Anti-Semitism and Legal Subcommittee is ably and expertly led by our Vice Chair, Simon Salkis, who you will see in action shortly in conversation on our panel with Gareth. Simon's leadership, acumen, and legal cool head under pressure have been invaluable. And Simon, I would like to thank you and the entire amazing, active and engaged and on-the-ball subcommittee for the incredible work that is being done. That WhatsApp group pings constantly throughout the day, with everyone weighing in on ways forward and insights. The Cape South African Jewish Board of Deputies has opened 4 cases of anti-Semitism and hate speech in the Equality Court since October the 24th. The Constitution, under the Equality Act, and through its structures of the Equality Court, being one of them, protects South Africans from hate speech and prejudice. We've had 1 hearing and 1 judgment so far, which was found guilty of hate speech and anti-Semitism, and an apology and recompense has been ordered. This is a great victory for our community and sends a stern warning to those who spew hatred. This is not tolerated under South African law, and there are consequences for these actions. This is an important step in legal precedent, and there are 3 more cases sitting in the Equality Court, and we expect to go to trial in the coming months. We're also busy investigating others and launching new cases. But the real victory in this action is a massive step in fighting anti-Semitism and the fierce and tireless work we are doing to prevent it. To understand that anti-Semitism is not just a Jewish issue, but that its tropes and narratives and othering are a threat to democracies and constitutional order across the world. That Jewish people and all people have every right to contribute to communities, societies, and countries as citizens and not as others, and that hate speech and anti-Semitic rhetoric should not be tolerated, and that we can express our Judaism in a free and safe environment. On behalf of the board, I would like to offer my deepest thanks and gratitude to Advocate Edward Fagan for his masterful legal expertise and insight, for his selfless and tireless commitment to upholding the law and the pursuit of justice, and for his deeply valued and honored friendship to our community. Edward, you are a mensch and a tzaddik, and we look forward to a continued deep and strong relationship. Our work this year in the tertiary space has been threefold, and particularly on UCT campus, although we work with Stellenbosch as well. 3 layers of work with UCT involve leadership, academic staff, and students. We have focused on building a strong relationship with leadership through regular meetings with the new Vice-Chancellor and his team. Our core tenet and the desired outcome of these meetings is to ensure level playing fields and a tertiary space that is not hijacked by political rhetoric and agenda, but that works toward a focus on academic excellence and an inclusive and safe environment for all students and all academics. IAW, or Israel Apartheid Week this year, was a success for soldiers, as the objective was for students to engage in meaningful dialogue. I would like to congratulate them, Rachel Siegel and her team, on their clever strategy this year of being ahead of the narrative by a surprise early day. There were no incidents this year, and we recognize the support from UCT staff and campus security in this regard. With regard to the academic boycott against Israel, UCT, the board is amicus in the case against council, together with our national board and the support required to see this case through. UCT has always been an important education institution for our community, and we are working together towards the boycott being removed and a campus which is inclusive and respectful. We have seen over the past year a decrease in frequency and numbers of protests, but an increase in motorcades. We've engaged with the City of Cape Town law enforcement and SAPS to ensure that the law is being upheld, along with the recognition that everyone has a right to protest. Arrests have been issued, tickets along with warnings. We are very grateful to SAPS, to law enforcement and the Mayor's office for their continued support. In December 2024, we had an IED thrown over the wall. For those of you who don't know, an IED is an incendiary explosive device. The situation was swiftly handled by our security, CSO, SAPS, and the bomb squad. As soon as we became aware, we released communication to the community and the media. The matter has been handed over to the Hawks, the investigation is ongoing, and we are receiving feedback, and we are in regular contact at the highest level with the security cluster. Steps have been taken to ensure the incident will not be repeated, and we do remain vigilant and aware at all times. Perhaps the most significant and important and exciting, in a way, work this year has been in the international global leadership, Jewish leadership arena. We have attended conferences, meetings, briefing. We have forged relationships and found a place of mutual support and collaboration internationally. I have met with the Sydney Board of Deputies, the British Board of Deputies. Daniel has attended the AJC conference in New York. Simon has attended the ADL conference in New York, together with Wendy Kahn. I have attended the Anti-Semitism conference for academics in London with David Hirsch, together with Karen Milner, our National Chair, and Mary Klook, our National Vice President. Daniel and I both had the privilege to attend the World Jewish Congress plenary session in Jerusalem. South Africa still leads the way, and Cape Town as a hotspot of exemplary leadership and advocacy. From our legal cases to our work with tertiary spaces to the work of our national board. Despite our complicated relationship with a Hamas-aligned governmental political party, South Africa still has one of the lowest rates of anti-Semitism, and we are free to live a proud Jewish life, and the majority of South Africans on the ground are respectful, religiously tolerant, ironically an inverse to many other countries and experiences that we have seen in this global scenario. We look forward to continuing these relationships and platforms, really showing that indeed we are Am Echad Im Lev Echad. Our Jewish heart beats as one throughout the world, and we are doing the work now and together to ensure the continuity of our people. This past term has been quite possibly the most challenging in many years for the Cape South African Jewish Board of Deputies. As a community, we have gone through a very tough and sometimes traumatic time. I always love Viktor Frankl. He says that pain and trauma does not necessarily need to lead to more pain and trauma, but that we can find meaning by coming together and courage from our shared community. And nowhere has this been more evident than the brave, inspired, and courageous leadership of each and every person around the Cape Board table. It has been an absolute privilege and an honor to work with each one of you. I am deeply grateful to our incredibly supportive and committed executive, our two vice chairs, Simon Salkis and Glenn Hennick, immediate past chairs, Tzvi Brivik and Rael Kaimovitz, treasurer, Lester Hoffman, with a further grateful thanks, Lester, for the preparation of the financial report this evening, and for the motto he always leaves us with, measure twice, cut once. I'd like to take a special moment and a very special thank you. With so much pride and nachas for the incredible work you do, Daniel Bloch, our executive director, who is always 10 steps ahead of everyone, whose passion, dedication, and ethical leadership shines through. I could never have done this without you. To the executive, the time and dedication, after hours, late night dealing with emergencies, Sundays and family time given up, and early morning and late flights to Johannesburg for meetings. Your support, friendship, and exemplary leadership are a beacon of light to this community. To the professional team, Mika, Josh, Mandy, thank you for your tireless work. You are an incredible team who give 120% all the time. Thank you to each board member for your valued leadership and contributions, wisdom and insight. And you're going to have to help me if I've left anyone out. Viv Anstey, Jonathan Silk, Dawn Nathan, Justin Asher, David King, Vanessa Raffaeli, Karen Kalman, Belinda Silbert, Michael Barr, Rivka Mayberg, Rachel Siegel, and David Cohen. I would also like to thank the Allocations Committee, headed by Bernard Osrin, on whose funds from the UJC we are wholly dependent on, for making this work possible, for the support provided, and the trust in us to do the work. It is my wish and my blessing for each one of you that through the work of the board and the affiliate organizations, that you truly value and you treasure what it means to be part of this incredible community, that you feel the deep sense of belonging and connectedness and the privilege and safety that it gives from cradle to grave. To know that our strength not only comes from our Jewish values, but our ability to support, to nurture, to grow our community for generations to come, and to advocate for its rights and to advocate for its growth, its change, and upliftment across the Western Cape. While we are proud of our achievements this year, we are ever mindful of the work still to be done. Anti-Semitism continues to evolve, demanding more vigilance and more resolve. The path to peace in Israel feels elusive, and the plight of the hostages and the toll of war weighs heavily in our hearts. As we gather in shuls and around Yontif tables this year for the Chagim, we pray for an end to this, for the safe return of the hostages, for healing for those touched by violence, and for peace. May you gather your loved ones around your tables with gratitude and blessing. Wishing everybody a Shana Tova Umetuka. May you be inscribed and sealed for good, and a Gmar Chatima Tova.